Right, so Simon's going to do his talk on getting your dissertation together. So thank you, Simon. Sorry for the delay start.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hi. First, I want to start by saying congratulations for getting this far. I know that it's really hard, and for you to get this far is really good. And this is the final hurdle. And I know what it feels like because I was in a similar situation. In 2013, I had to do my dissertation. Now, I knew that I had a problem with organisation. I had problems with organisation all the way through my course. And then but I managed to do my assignments. But when it comes to the dissertation, that was the hardest thing to do because it's a long piece of work and you have to be really organised. And to be honest, I struggled, and I actually had to, I had to find out, I had to get help, basically, because I knew that I had a problem of doing it. I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it. So I went to a place where this guy was giving a talk about ADHD. Have you ever heard about that? Yeah. And the guy was giving a talk about ADHD, and I said afterwards, during the meeting, I said, I think I've got ADHD, okay, and I'm doing my dissertation at university, and I'm really struggling, and and I need some help. I need a diagnosis. And the guy said to me, afterwards, he said that he will give me a consultation, and I went to see him, and he diagnosed me with ADHD, which allowed me to have extenuating circumstances. Now, I don't want you to try that one, okay? But it was genuine because I knew I had ADHD, but I just wasn't able to I was waiting for a diagnosis from the NHS, but they were a bit slow in assessing, in basically trying to help me. So the guy I managed to get a diagnosis. Now, so that's a bit about me. So now, someone with ADHD, now I'm going to speak to you what's helped me and what will help you be organised to do your dissertation. Okay? So, how many of you know, do you know what science is? Can anybody tell me what science? What is science? Study of something, yeah?
What is science? I haven't thought about that question before. Isn't it about the world that...
Cause and effect.
Cause and effect, yeah. It's an explanation of something, okay? A quote which really helped me was this quote, was, "Science is organised knowledge." Okay? It's about organising knowledge. Now, we're social scientists, yeah? So, what we're trying to do is organise knowledge. Now, when it says science is organised knowledge, do you know there's a difference from being organised and organising? Do you know that? Can you tell me what the difference is from being organised and organising? The difference is, I'll tell you, is that being organised is like a concept. It's like if you see yourself as being, you know, some people are organised and they're very organised and that's how they describe themselves. But for me, being ADHD, I'm not organised. So, but what I learned is that I can organise knowledge. Can you see that? So what I'm going to talk to you is about how to organise knowledge today. And there's 3 ways that you can organise knowledge. Did somebody use this for me? Yeah, okay, right, okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to give you an outline for today, okay? I'm going to talk about how to organise your knowledge, okay? Which is establish a body of knowledge. That's what you're going to be doing for your dissertation. And then I'm going to talk to you about editing, proofreading, cite them right, and binding. So there's 3 stages in organising knowledge. Now, where are you in terms of organising knowledge in your dissertation? How are you? So, have you done your literature review? All of you? Yeah. Okay. Have you done your are you doing secondary research, primary research?
Primary.
Yeah. Okay. And have you done your discussion?
Analysis chapter.
Analysis. You've done that? Yeah. You're working on it. Okay. Have you done your conclusion? Okay. Okay. Well, the first stage, right, in establishing knowledge is reading, and you've all done that. And you basically what you've done so far is you've recognised a body of knowledge. Isn't that right? Yeah. Which was established. Okay. And the second part is connecting. So your research that you've done, you need to connect it to what you've read. Okay? You're not expected to come out with anything new, but really just confirm basically a lot what's already been said before. So, and then the last stage is where you're coming to, which is you're doing your findings and analysis. Is basically you need to construct, structure and support and communicate an argument. So out of what you've done, out of what you've researched, what's your findings be? What's your argument going to be? And the best dissertation, sorry I have trouble saying that word, okay, is ones that have an argument. Is that correct? Do you agree?
Yeah.
A lot of times, if you have a hypothesis, do you have a hypothesis? Do you all have a hypothesis for yours? Okay. Okay. It's good to have a hypothesis and have an argument so that you can have so the reader knows where you're going and knows what you're trying to say. Okay? So next slide. Okay. Okay. So for the literature review, okay, have you established what the arguments are for your literature review? Do you have all the evidence to make a case of what you're trying to prove? And are you aware of theoretical persuasion? Turn to the next slide. Now, how many know what theoretical persuasion is?
Is it using the theories to get people to understand your perspective in a way?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You kind of look using what you've got for your lit review, using the discussion or the theories in lit review. You're using that now to probably argue your case or get people to understand where you're coming from. Yeah,
yeah, that's right. Yeah. So theoretical orientations are the way people see and explain the world. Okay. So dissertation is about discovering these different views and trying to connect these points of views together. Now, when you're looking at your readings, now everybody has a theoretical lens which they look at the world, and you have to be. It's good to know what that theoretical lens is, because otherwise you might take them out of context. Because if they're only looking for a certain, like, say France, for example, if a person is looking at policy, is in government, and they're looking at policies and stuff like that, they will only look at things from a policy perspective. But if you're looking at things from a Karl Marx perspective, what's Karl Marx? What's that? That's about inequalities and stuff like that. So they will have they will come from that perspective. So it's good to understand what are the theories that where people are coming from. Okay, so So the second stage is once you've got the different arguments that people have, or different, you looked at the different readings, is you have to try and now connect them together. So you need to compare, contrast, synthesize. What are they all saying? What's are they all saying the same thing, or are they saying a different thing? Argument points, and you need to evaluate whether the evidence is a good case or not. And evidence. Okay, next one. Okay. Now, in terms of your argument, you need to try to develop your own voice in what you're trying to say. So, now, have you developed your own voice in what you are trying to communicate? Because you don't want to be too descriptive in just saying what's already people know already. So think about what's your voice. And this quote that really helps me is weigh the whole point of education is to weigh their beliefs against a critical examination of alternative possibilities. So there's alternative possibilities. So your voice matters. You've got a voice, and you are contributing to the debate, to what is already being said. So you're contributing, and you're weighing up your beliefs to what other people have said. Okay, so next slide. Okay, now I'm going to talk about referencing. Okay, now why do you think referencing is important? Well, if you don't read that. Yeah, because one of the things about referencing, that's really important for your assignment. And sometimes with referencing, we reference just because we think, well, that's going to make it sound academic. And so it kind of makes it feel like you're speaking intellectually, okay? But the most important thing about referencing is to support your argument. So if you're making an argument, you have to back it up with references. And it's not just to avoid plagiarism, but it's also to support your argument. And it's to link your writing with other people, with the other bodies of knowledge out there. So you're sharing along the same lines as what other people are saying. And it gives your work credibility. So if you want credibility, if you want to get a really high mark, if you just speak from your own perspective, then you're not really going to get that high mark. But if you've got references to back up what you're saying, then that really proves that will get you a much higher mark. Okay, so next slide. Okay, now I'm going to move on to editing. Okay, now do you know there's a difference between editing and proofreading?
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
So when you're proofreading, you're just making sure that you haven't made silly mistakes, and you're changing the grammar or the punctuation. Whereas when you're editing, what you've originally said, you want to improve on that. You either want to improve on the structure, or you want to... Exactly.
Okay. So you're all familiar with that? It looks like you guys know all this already. So editing, I just want to add to what you're saying about editing, is that when you're editing, make sure you have a logic to your text. So it's not just like you're saying something here, you're saying something there, you're kind of like saying the same thing in different paragraphs. Try and link the points that you want to make, the point, into paragraphs. And there's a logic. So on one paragraph, you're talking about this. In another paragraph,